Hey folks, Nick Tuckert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Before we get our show going, let's pay some bills. Folks, first and foremost, the Historical Fencing Guild is made possible by the Patreon folks who keep my channel afloat. That's www.patreon.com/the Historical Fencing Guild. Sorry, you're going to have to bear with me. Tonight's a rough night. I'll explain what's going on in a bit. The Historical Fencing Guild is also brought to you by the Simple Sword, the Fighting Axe, and the Simple Spear, all available at Amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tucker. And hope you feel better. The Fox is here. Hope you feel better. Cindy Kep is here. Hello there. Alrighty, folks. This may be a little more sedate, and I may be a little more scrambled. The cats, however, are losing their ever-loving minds. I had some mild, I had some pretty severe medical issues today. And what happened was I went in to get an allergy test to see what I'm allergic to. And they gave me a battery of 60 substances that they stabbed in my back row style with little numbers. And on about 50 of them, I came up, I reacted to. And so they were very alarmed and they gave me medicine, and I have a whole new thing on the way. But afterwards, we went to Walmart to do some shopping and get dinner, and I had a secondary surge of reaction to everything, and started to have wheezing, throat closing problems. So I had to get Benadryl in me and a few other things. Now that kind of really it took a lot out of me. I'm out of my Hawaiian shirt. I apologize for not being on brand. But just because I've been ill or injured doesn't mean I'm likely to stop the show lightly. It's not what I do, because I want to be here every week for the folks who can use a little positivity, use a little support. And I'm doing better than I was. Obviously, I'm eating and drinking and everything's okay. But it kind of did a number on me. And we'll go through the chat real quick, and then I'll get back into what we're talking about. And we mentioned the Fox is here. Hi, Foxy. Hope you're having a lovely night. Sorry, it seems so dark in here. I have to do something about the lighting, but work in progress. Hope you feel better. I'm working on that. Hello there. Just take your time. You deserve rest. I'm going to do what I can. If I feel as though some of the brain fog, because frankly, I have a lot of brain fog going on from all of this, gets to be too much, I'll just call the show and it'll be a short show. But I respect Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl, if you don't know, is a musical prodigy. He's on a group called the Foo Fighters and some other, and he broke his leg during a show. Went out, had to bring a chair while they put the cast on, and continued playing the show, because that's what he's about, being there for the fans. So that's what I'm about. Let's see. Cindy Cap says, gives me the ooh eyes. At least you caught before anaphylaxis. That is nasty. Yeah. But it started to get problematic while I was at the front end of the Walmart waiting for Mandy to get through the shopping line to pick up some Benadryl, because they gave me Claritin and stuff and had me sit, and I didn't have a reaction, and I guess I'm a slow burn. But I feel your pain. Thanks to my mother, I am allergic to the vast majority of things. You have my deepest condolences. Lighting is fine. It's probably more you tonight. Probably. So, like I said, I do vaguely apologize. My camera's a little off angle. One of those days. I get perfectionist when I don't feel right. Uh, I do ooh, clear my head. Okay. I do want to thank everybody. Thank all the support. I had planned to acquire uh, some victims. I mean, pumpkins for something that I'm up to. But let's see. Uh, lighting is fine. It's probably more you. Claritin takes up to 48 hours to fully take effect. Yes, and they had me off all my allergy meds for a week to get a proper reading. Dave, uh, Dave was being taken care of during the show. That might not be an option for you while being in front of the camera. No, but that's why I I skated in at the last minute and I ate and I got myself as composed as I could. Uh, and whatever you need to do, we understand. Dave is a beast, absolutely. And there are a few different allergic responses. One immediate, one that's delayed up to by 72 hours, especially especially in American healthcare. Thank you guys for your support. I know I'm a little all over the place, but I'm gonna bring it back because that's what I do. That's what I'm about. And I tell people you have to create defiantly, and you have to go when it's hard and difficult. Yeah, I that consider that one a gift, Johnny. But so I could no sooner not then I'd have to stop saying you should. I mean, I try to avoid hypocrisy whenever possible. Joe Bachman teleports in, drops a like on the show, and disappears into the shadows of the room. Well, it's always beautiful when you come by, Joe, and thank you. And huge shout out to Joe Bach at Joe Bach Tech Apps right here. HTTPS://bit.ly JB Tech Apps. Joe not only has made the Big Snobbery Robots app, which has made us a couple bucks, pretty literally, but has, but some amazing construction apps, and he's learning coding to do even more. I want to see him become very successful so that in sort of like my mission to let cat art and bring Cookie home for Brian K. Morris, I want to get Joe where he only has to work jobs he wants to work, not jobs he has to work. We'll attempt to be not. Oh no. Feel free to be distracting. Me being distracted is always good television, good entertainment. I know this without a doubt. And I will get on point. I'm just hydrating, and as time goes by, I'm going, see, things are getting better. I'm loosening a little bit. I mean, it was, it's only been a few hours. So I'm still thinking, hey, yo, that's right. When it's hard, it's like a hole. Anyway, I used to have severe reactions being around Foxy's brother, like trouble breathing, coughing at the point. She made me go to the doctor. Yes, you are less filtered. Yeah, that's you're more. I have to be careful because when I feel like this, I am less filtered. I'm more likely to have an error. I got a rescue inhaler and Delero, which helped. Wonderful. I have a whole gambit of new medicine that I get to add to the growing pharmacy that is necessary for my travel. I now have two new lovely machines. I have a machine and a backup machine because I bought my CPAP. And if you're wondering, you know that one that got discontinued for problems? Yeah, that was mine. Just because that's my luck. Oh, well, given my brother's general lack of hygiene, my condolences. But, I hope he can come to a place where he's beyond that. We all have our faults and we're trying to get past them. Now, and it is interesting that we are coming into this because part of I did a quiz on Patreon, and I'd like to see not a quiz, a poll. Sorry. Kitty is here. Hello, Kitty. Great to see you. I hope you are doing your drills, because I would love to see examples of you doing rope dart, because I find rope dart utterly fascinating. It's just got a little bit of quantum entanglement for me. Alrighty, on Patreon, I want to see, why is it being weird? It's being weird. Okay, I'm not even going to mess with that. I'm going to do this. Boink. And folks, I'm still here. Yes, I want to see what you guys said before I make an announcement. And it's been since yesterday. I think I got it. I was a little late coming in due to some of the other things, but I want to see how a poll has come on. And if you want to see the polls and get exclusive access to to Cyber Tacto, where I do polls and things. And yes, we've come to this lovely question of, yes, I asked basically, I have never done a cutting video in my entire time on YouTube. It's just one of those genres I've avoided, and some people are wondering about that. And Foxy's petting the kitty, and that just makes the night nice. That makes the night better. They moved a few years back, so I haven't had to deal with it much. I'm sorry to hear that. I've been Zoom training with Thesis in the morning lately. Maybe I will film a little mini form for it. Or maybe not. I'm camera shy, and I respect that. I really do. I do encourage people to record themselves doing their art because, one, the process of you showing how you learned encourages others to learn it, because we very often all we see demonstrated is the process. Wanting to see the poll. Yeah, Johnny. Yeah, it's big poll. And it's balanced as all things should be. So, well, here. Let me do this. Move tab to new window. And then I'll come back and I will do. Normally I set this sort of thing up ahead of time because normally I plan my shows better than this, but I'm slowly awaking, and yeah, laugh at that one too, Johnny. But let's go present, because I changed. Share screen. Window. Probably Chrome tab would be better. And go here. Here. So here's my problem. The poll was asking about whether I should engage in some pumpkin cutting. And I asked you guys, and so far I have 2 votes. And only I can see this. Wow. Things are only as secretive as I choose them to be. Yes, the pumpkin invasion must be stopped. No, it's wasteful. Do something else. And Sydney Kep added integrating weapons into costumes, which is a great video, regardless of this business. So that poll I'll leave that up probably till next Wednesday. So all of you guys who have an opinion on it, put that down. Oh, you didn't take the poll, but take it as a yes. Okay. And surprised you skipped on the kitty, on petting the kitty, Johnny. That absolutely sets me up for a joke I shouldn't make, Foxy. And I have a video hidden. This is a Thesis on my old desktop of me and a few people cutting milk jugs. My form was pretty non-existent since I was using a dowel, as it was the only sharp weapon I had. I will probably use either my lawn sword, which is the horribly named, delightfully crafted tactical katana trainer that I believe has been defunct from Cold Steel, or Priscilla, my little shrub bush sword. I'm rather fond of this. This is actually live steel. This is extremely sharp. Now, so the YouTube folks don't get mad at me. Yes, this is a sharp knife. It is black coated. There you go. You can see the edge. I love the knife. I'm not overly fond of the sheath, but I need to tweak it. But this is a very real point, a very real edge, very real point. I am keeping it away from me. My soft bits are away from the sharp bits. This is how to handle a knife carefully. Normally, I would not say don't touch the blade at all. However, this has a heavy powder coat, and I do like the blade dynamics. So I'm going to see if I can make this work, either against pumpkins as part of the pumpkin invasion, or later in a revisiting review against, well, probably plastic bottles or something mostly harmless. Weed blade. Weed blade. Now, how is this a weed blade? I would be astonished. This is just a bush sword. If this has anime tie-ins that I didn't know about, please let me know. Or are you talking about the tactical katana that was given to me that is not a katana and is not tactical, and that's why I love it. That's my lawn sword that I use for taking out, or I used to use for taking out large bramble bushes and things. So, well, let's see. Thesis now have several gin, and my cutting would be much more in my style. Well, you know what? Find the old video, do a before and after. It'd be a great comparison. And one of these Fridays, I'm going to just send you guys the link and have you hop on, and we'll discuss this stuff person to person. I think that would be delightful. Obviously, when I'm fully in my faculties, because right now I'm still a little. Oh. Struggles to joke about Thesis's beautiful sword. Why are you struggling to joke about it? I know, according to what I've heard, it fills the hand nicely, is well balanced, and hits all those hard to reach areas. I don't struggle to make jokes. I just try not to. Ba-doom-cha. Now, see, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. It's just, for me, this is very sedate. Cindy Kemp says, I started taking Tai Chi classes. It's been highly educational. One of the instructors also tells us what movement would be meant to do in a fracas. There are a lot of grappling types of moves in Tai Chi. Yes. Um, yes. Tai Chi is a very elegant. It's rare. I would say it's a 5% off. 95% of Tai Chi practitioners have no idea how to use it as a combative. But the 5% who have integrated it into their style, many of which accidentally, they did it as it's usually consistent. It's people who've trained in other things, but they did Tai Chi as a way of recovering from an injury. And then they find themselves, there's a couple very nice throws to the outside, kind of hip toss motions that are beautiful. There's a beautiful sword draw. Parting the wild horse's mane basically is a sword draw. And that makes the motion of the action make a lot more sense. But it can be quite effective when someone and they stress test it. If you were up for never mind the furthermore on my other channel, the Nicholas Talkert channel, please subscribe over there as well. I got into a delightful debate with Glenn B. Fleming today, and we were talking. I was talking about why I have people on my programs when I'm speaking about my experiences and things that I know and I do it deliberately, that I know disagree with me. And that's because I believe, with as long as respect is applied, there should never be malice in sparring. Okay? Sparring should not be an angry thing. It should not be a vicious thing. Even competition should not include malice. There should be a lot of anger. Uh, but you are stress testing your martial arts, both your execution of the art and the art itself when you cross train, which is something I highly recommend. I do that with ideas. It is very easy for many people to engage in uh, being trapped in an echo box, an echo chamber, where they only hear one idea, and if they agree with it, it all echoes and they feel special. And there are many dojos where they will not train or spar outside of the dojo. They won't train other styles and they encourage you not to. Um, that tells me a bit about the mentality of the individual. I prefer to come from a I am looking for cross training mentality. By looking for cross training, uh, Joey, Joey says, mine fits in the hand nicely as a small dagger can. But you always get the heart shots, and we know your backstab bonus is legendary there, Joey. Uh, I would love to have a face to face conversation. We just need to schedule that. I just need to do a panel episode of this. I don't think I've done that, or I haven't had anybody on in a long time. I'd still like to get Sword Sage back on, but I can understand why he doesn't. He's very busy, and we're in very different time scales. Uh, Excellent, Cindy. Tai Chi is overlooked in most combat, but to those who use it know better. Exactly. Thursday is going to be something else. Well, here's the thing. Thursday will be fun because I'll have Glenn here and we'll talk about the same things. And he'll tell me I'm missing his point. I'll say I see your point. I just refuse to acknowledge it as correct. And we will go around and around and around. But it does by being opposed. And in this case, I I despise impossible. I see impossible as a temporary status. And even if it's long, the temporary factor is long enough to be longer than my lifespan, I still believe there's hope to correct a problem. And I refuse to let uh, a limitation fully stop me if there's any way around it. Because to me, the game's only over after you're dead. Now, some people lean more to you either have talent or you don't. You either have the gift to do something. And I will say, to reach the highest echelons of any art, including martial arts, you have to have the physicality, you have to have the talent, but you also have to have the skills and the drive. And if you lack the skills and the drive, no matter how talented you are, you will shut down. And if you lack the talent, you can get a lot farther on just skills, studying and learning and training than you can on talent alone. And these points are something that Glenn, who I respect, that's author and artist Glenn B. Fleming, somebody else I know, a really neat guy. But I believe in training to overcome one's limitations. So that's what we're doing today. That's what we do on this channel. Now, let's see. Yeah. Knowing what the move is meant to do sometimes helps get it right. The instructor says it usually, yes, it really uses strategies to help small folks get leverage on bigger folks. That's why you see a lot of motion overlap in between Tai Chi and Aikido. And unfortunately, in their practice, you see uh, the same hesitance Because anytime a smaller, weaker person engages in a physical altercation with a larger person from a base set of values, they are uh, at a deficit. That's why they say God created man, made them equal. Uh, in hand to hand, the stronger, longer reach has advantages. You have to work harder to be able to equal, let alone overcome that. And sometimes you can't. But you can do a lot more trying than by simple surrender. Huh. The book I'll never write, The Simple Surrender. I really want to make a French joke. And yeah, you got let's see. Getting to this, little folks got to fight smarter and escalate quicker. The one of the key ways in actual confrontation, when it comes down to it, that a small person can be victorious is with a sudden, drastic, and immediate overwhelming force. It's everything right now because you're not going to get a second chance. That's why I try to avoid conflicts whenever possible. Now, getting back to, I wanted to get to that because it hit the end of what I was saying. Yeah, I'll just throw the whole talent of I'll just throw the whole concept of talent in the garbage where it won't bother me. Even if talent plays a part, thinking about it doesn't help me. I think on this, before we get back into the fighting, and hi, some person, I see you in there. Talent. Worrying about talent has two big groups that worry about talent, or should. Trainers, and I was the guy when I was in the SCA before I offended my old instructor, who he would select the people with the talent, the natural talent, the right build, mentality, athleticism, and just the gifts to be a traditional where and he would train them, and I would be given the leftovers. Work with these people, see what you can do with them. Uh, that's my specialty. That's where I live. Because the people who have it easy, who have innate talent, who can find it, are spoiling for trainers. They're spoiling because they're the easy bet. Uh, and if I was about building my own fame, I could see that as a mentality, but I'm not. I'm about helping people who want to learn. So the talented, very often get shunted off to other people. Every once in a while, though, and it's rare, but it does happen, someone like Trelena comes in my circle, is incredibly talented, and chooses to stay. It's the dangest thing. Like she balances talent and skill, but it's a different world now. Oh, I actually got a comment done. How wonderful! Tai Chi is chess. You can't win with just a single move, but you're thinking 3, 4 times ahead. And that's the trick, is getting your opponent to cooperate. And yes, that's very much what fencing is. That's why it's called physical chess. And that's where the mental game of it intrigues me so much. And yes, little folks gotta fight smarter. Just be a honey badger. Sometimes that's the only way. Uh, Oh, I don't mind admitting in certain situations I'll fight dirty as all heck. Well, let me explain something to you. Now, first off, I believe in limited response. You always want to do the absolute minimum force to achieve safety. And as soon as you have an escape means, you apply it. However, for me, if throwing dirt in some dude's eye who has attacked me unjustly, or has attacked me justly, although I don't see that happening, I'm fine with that. That's not dirty fighting. A fair fight is a fight you have a reasonable belief you could lose. It's balanced. And they try to set those up artificially by having weight classes and things to highlight the skill difference. Life rarely gives you a fair fight, and the vast majority of time, the bad guys have the advantage because they're the instigators. They've chosen where the conflict would be, when the conflict would be, the parameters. This is all huge tactical disadvantages. Some person says, fight like Joe Pesci. I say, I don't like to fight, but when I fight like the third monkey on the ramp up to Noah's Ark, and brother, it's starting to rain. I love that quote. I don't know the origin, but I love that quote. And we've got comment dump, so let's deal with that. Boom. Hello, Nick. Let's see. I'm constantly moving, so it's harder for someone to catch me. But if they do, I'm smush. And you have to realize that. And that's what being mobile is about. I am no longer mobile. I wish I were. I work to maintain what I have, but I'm not as mobile as I once was. So I have to have plans in case. I have to have contingencies always going. As soon as I hit the list field, my brain is clicked over. It was funny. There was a bit of social drama, significant bit of social drama in my local group a few years ago. And someone who I no longer hear from, but was a dear friend, came up to me. They're like, this happened at your practice, and what were you doing about it? I said, at my practice. Yes. At my practice, where am I? Well, where am I? Well, you're out on the list. Yes. I'm either training, which means my attention is entirely on my student, sparring, which means my attention is entirely on my opponent, or teaching, or I'm sorry, marshaling, where my attention is entirely on the fight at hand to make sure everybody stays safe. I'm not engaging in social spy network games. And I don't think they ever believed me after that, but it's the simple truth. When you're sparring, that's what you're doing. And it is a wonderful concept for the glory of monotasking. And it's wonderful for reminding us how to. This is why I enjoy marksmanship. Yes, over the years, in various ways, from thrown weapons to archery to air rifles to actual freedom pellet dispensers, because YouTube does not like the G word. I have engaged in marksmanship where I want to try to make this tool or weapon fire accurately over distance to a given target. I'm not hurting anyone. I don't use live targets. I use little pieces of paper, usually with a crosshair on them. I find that relaxing because when I have hit that point, whatever I'm doing, archery, Nerf guns, doesn't matter. I'm doing one thing. The bills don't matter. The weather doesn't matter. Whatever's upset me, whatever drama, the TV, nothing matters but the shot. My dad taught me that. Breathe in. Breathe out. Squeeze the trigger. Let go of the string. Loose the knife. Chuck the axe. Whatever. You center. And that moment is one of the great crystalline moments one finds. It's one of the reasons why I enjoyed driving fast. Adrenaline is nice, and I don't drive fast any longer. But what I loved was the clarity of purpose. Because if you're driving fast, and I mean driving fast, we're talking triple digits, fast, you have to feel the road. You have to feel how the car is behaving. You have to be totally aware. You are no longer you. You are your vehicle. You are the surroundings. That's all that matters. And it just takes all the floating gobbledygook in your mind. And it just clears it away. This is why I like a lot of things. Because when I'm in a bout and I get comfortable, and especially when I'm not teaching, I've got a friend and I'm not even playing around. It's that late night. We're all very loose, a little tired. I don't have anything to prove. I have somebody I can trust. all I have to do is think about not thinking, just turning off and letting what my body knows how to do go. That is tremendously freeing. The concept of not thought, of unthought, where you just are. It's very bad for memory, but very good for peace and serenity. And there are times where you just have to fall into it. It's a meditative, dare I say, spiritual approach that I find in both Western and Eastern martial arts. And when I've had to apply violence, either therapeutically or in self-defense in my life, because I'm not an aggressor, that isn't my nature. The times it's had the best outcome is when I could slip into that mental space of nothing else matters. If it's not a part of tactical assessment, it's gone. I don't matter. All that matters are my parameters, my reach, my stats. As an old DM and game designer, that place, folks, is something that is pursued from thousands upon thousands of angles, but it's the same destination. It is balance and efficiency in action and movement. It's what lets your pen stroke when you're doing a painting or a drawing, when the ink just flows straight and it does the shape you want, and you're not thinking about it. You're just it's just you are your art. That is something wondrous, and it's something I pursue. It is not a state anyone can live in forever, and frankly shouldn't, because it's the balance to proper mindfulness. But everything needs a balance. And I don't know if I wax too philosophical for you, but we'll see because I've got a nice big old comment dump, and we'll see what's going on. I don't move as much as Kitty, but if I don't want to move, I'm very hard to move. And there's nothing wrong with being grounded if that's your universe. People keep trying to force, people try to judge intelligence and capability by a critter's ability to climb a tree. Imagine something's ability to climb a tree is the end-all be-all of skill. And you're looking at a sailfish, a swordfish, a marlin, something like that. This is a thing that can go 35 knots. I mean, race through the water. Extreme pursuit predator. Boom. And dismissing it entirely because, well, it can't climb a tree. A monkey, a primate, does not, may climb a tree real well, but it's not going to deep dive swim real well. Nobody has all of it. And you find your strength and you build to your strengths. And from that position of strength, you deal with your weaknesses. So I think that's great. Kitty responds to that with, makes it fun for Thesis to throw you around. Giggles. Foxy says, I outweigh him. I can throw him. Like I said, less fun for him. Maybe. I don't know all of Thesis' proclivities, He seems a fairly enlightened person who may be comfortable in many roles. He tried it, but it's a short chuck. And good evening, Ogre. Good evening, Silver Ogre. I hope you're doing very well. It's been a good show thus far. I don't know how much you've caught. I'm trying to recover from some medical issues, but we're having a lovely chat. Thank you for joining us. And we have another comment dump. Ooh. Hey, Ogre. Hey, Foxy. Evening, Ogre. Sips tea rather than coffee. How that's delightful. There's Bladed Thesis. Good evening. It is obligatory warm beverage. Sheldon was right about etiquette. Understood. I would provide beverages to all my digital guests if it were possible. Coffee, tea, chai, hot cocoa. Take your pick, eh? Yep, I keep a full cabinet. How delightful. Uh, we aren't coffee folks, but I have many types of tea and chocolate. I used to be, and then medically they took my caffeine away. So I'm learning other things. Ah, that's the problem I had with the only local HEMA guy. He met up at our archery range and he told me I was using the bow wrong because I wasn't doing it like he did. I love those people. Um, because if you've ever seen the Japanese bow method, they very, very long bow, and they grab it by the lower third, and the arm comes out over cranes, hits, and it's anchored way up here. It's a neat. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a very different style than European archery. Uh, the question I always ask is, does it work? If it works, it's not dumb. If it works for you, it's not wrong. Now, if it works in such a way that it leaves you an obvious weakness, then you have these conversations. But it shouldn't ever be a debate. I'm right. No, you're right. This style is better than this style. No, that's not how you settle it. You spar, you train, you talk about specific, and you have a physical conversation. Because the best sparring sessions when you are when you're not just practicing and getting loose, but you're learning each other, learning styles and stuff. Cross training is that if I do this, I see you do that. Well, since you've done that, I'll counter with this, and that give and take. Kudo, thank you. Uh, the trick with accuracy is repetition and consistency. Once you're consistent, you can fix yourself. Accuracy versus precision. I get into that in the simple spear. Should talk about that. Uh, boom. Let's see. And enough mugs for visiting dwarves. I love dwarves. Dwarves are good people. Had to get rid of a dozen or more last year because I still have a ton. Um, I am balance challenged. You'll notice you see me drink out of my bounceable orange lidded bottle. Yeah, I know what I'm about. I have a couple very special mugs tucked away, but they're for very special occasions. If you got to get rid of mugs, use them for slingshot practice. That is fun. I would prefer to acquire like the creepy clown statues from the dollar store or something like that. Um, I'd donate mugs at work, but let's see. Uh, Fave warm beverages: apple juice with cinnamon, ginger, citrus, and sometimes a wee bit of cloves. Oh, you guys, I'm going to tell you something. People who are vaguely medievalists have some of the best treats, snacks, and beverages. Uh, we make something very similar to that. That's delightful. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh God, see, I could go for that. It's the right time of year for it. Um, Teas, desserts. Oh God, now I want some Russian cream. Anyway, most herbal teas have little to no caffeine, and same with hot chocolate. Most have less than 1% go juice in them, and that's why I'm very careful with that. And I have some absolutely delightful teas. It does mean I my favorite tea was white pear tea by Celestial Seasonings. Well, that okay, that and a very, very, very brand specific type of oolong black that I could get from the Chinese restaurant that is now 100 miles away. Yes, I know I sound Rain Man with this. It's called the Peking, and if you're ever in Michigan City, tragically they don't have a dine-in anymore. But get it, sit down right in the parking lot and eat it. It's the best Chinese food I've ever encountered. just hard stop. It's amazing. But now I want Chinese food. That being said, there's some, I'll pronounce it long, like Rooibos, Madagascar Red vanillas that are delightful. Several herbal teas are delightful for calming the nerves and clearing the mind. Kubudo is different but effective, yes. I donated them to people who are starting out their own place for the first time over. That's very noble of you. He was incredibly arrogant, kept bringing up all his accomplishments as we were supposed to be impressed. When we didn't react appropriately, he got picky. That is something that is I frequently see. I am this order and that order in your LARP. I feel bad because belts in martial arts belts, and this is why I frequently get asked, why do I not have awards? There are people, when I organize, the guild doesn't have this, and this. There are people who can train the basics and students. Usually I'll add a specialty to somebody because they've proven to me that they are capable in that style. That's it. The only other rank is me. Which can be as lowly a student with the right new person or as instructorly as somebody can be with somebody who's never held a sword. I do that because I don't hold to young children being guaranteed black belts by a certain age and things like that. I've also seen groups where the politics determine your rank as much as your skill and your service. And I find both concepts abhorrent. So I just avoid rank as all possible. The simple frying pan would be a fun guy. It would. I should write something like that. Hey, don't hurt us creepy clowns. LOL. Oh, Joe, you know I love you. I'm talking about the precious moments looking knockoffs. I had a friend, and it was not me, but a friend, who had to leave their home because of a stepmother kind of situation. Very Cinderellian. And I found out that they still had a lot of anger. And a lot of times people who train with me come because they have an underlying issue, either a physical limitation or something that makes it harder for them to find normal training elsewhere. Maybe they have a lot of anger. So I talked about what made that person angry. And what it was this woman had come into their life and like, what do you hate most about her? And get talking, and he mentioned this collection of these precious moments, clown things. I said, they sell bootlegs at the dollar store. So, come on. And we got them. We took them out to someplace safe, and we destroyed a crate of them. I mean, there was blunt force trauma. There was applied fireworks. Legal weaponry of all sorts. And it helped that dude find peace. I'm all about finding the route to peace. And sometimes you have to find safe destruction to vent the anger. Ogre says passing things along is good. I don't call that getting rid of them, but I'm technical sometimes. And some of us have that hyper literal button, and that's okay too. Clowns are evil. Well, they are no longer in my possession. Even decaf, yeah. I have to avoid even decaf because it counteracts my nerve pain meds. So it causes my always constant but malleable pains to become intolerable. The simple frying pan would go along well with the frying pan of doom by Patricia C. Reid. Reid? Wait, Reid? Don't know about that book. But let's get my notepad out and let's write a note, and I will look that up because that sounds intriguing. And yes, I take notes. One thing I learned from college is write stuff down. You can write in if you own the textbook, you can write in the margins. You can highlight it. I highlight my Bible when I want to look up stuff or something speaks to me. Oh, it's not sacrilege because I worship the idea, not the icon. Anyway, Doom by Patricia C. Reed. I've even been known to buy trade paperbacks, a second copy just to mark up and put post-it notes on when I'm trying to figure out how an artist did something or why they did something. Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? It's almost like it's mine and I can do that. I still have a frying pan with a dent from my dad's noggin. That's awesome. I'm biased about that author as I really like her recipe for the quick after battle triple chocolate cake. Okay, I will be speaking to my wife about this. That just sounds awesome. Amanda will need to hear about that. That sounds yummy and omnibus. Anonymous. Yes. The words that come out of my mouth are something like English. Omnit. Dreadful. Dread-inducing. Anyway, my doc syndrome's running rampant. Well, when I help my shifu, teach in a small studio, he always gave me new students because I had more patience than he did. We were mostly teaching older women and they preferred learning from me. Exactly. That was part of what I did, to the point where that is my only caveat. When somebody comes to learn my style, they train with me first because I have to find out what they know. Are they safe? And what their attitude is. Are they aggressive? Are they passive? What needs to be done? That way, then I can say, okay, you would learn better from this person. They fight like this. Lean them toward this weapon, get them started, and then branch out. And you could ask Joe, because Joe's seen me do it a million times. Yes. So basically, you went Office Space on a bunch of mini clowns instead of a fax machine. Absolutely. And it helped them. Destroying the emblem of your enemy sometimes can be as curative as destroying your enemy itself. B vitamins and C are pretty energetic. Yes, they are. I do my Mio stuff in here has B vitamins, which is why I started to kind of perk up as the show went on. Oh, read. Okay, as in the Wiccan read. Okay, cool. I learned that I could draw on textbooks. Didn't help as much. Yeah. Guilty as charged. I actually heard several people that they preferred my teaching style over Shifu's. A lot of people do, and it depends on the textbook and what you're learning. But yeah, I'll give you another hint. Okay, I want to show you guys something. Let me show you something. Because I caught flack. Simple sword. I caught flack from somebody, and I can't remember who it was, because I tend to leave lots of space on pages, and there's big margins. And someone accused me, the audacity, of doing this to up my page count. No. I did this in part because I want the concepts to be delineated and not have people race, and it's going to take what the space it takes. But I also did it so that you would have lots of room in your copy, your sweet little copy of this book, which you can get through Amazon, to write down, okay, this works this way, or do this, or questions here. Write it in pencil so you can erase it. Highlight it. This is a textbook. This has a sacred amount of knowledge in that I put my heart and soul into it. But this is the book is an icon right in it. I'm fine with that. Look at the fighting axe. Funny, lots of space on the sides. Why is that? Well, it makes it easier to read, but it leaves you room to highlight and jot things down. That's why I switched to this style. The next few books are going to be basically this format. And there are more books coming because I want you to realize that you can work in the book. Write, make notes, ask questions, and then you know what you could do with any of these books. See, I know the author. He's kind of a goofball, but he's fairly approachable. And if you don't know him through this lovely show he puts on every week so that people can ask questions and have conversation, you can hit him up at ntalker on Twitter and just tag at ntalker. I have a sword question, blah, 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 blah. At which point you'll either get my answer, I don't know, but let me look it up, or I need more clarification on the question, because I'm all about helping people. You're a lot more patient, Thesis. You realize that some people have limitations and know how to work with and around it rather than trying to do things the way they should be done. And that's why I'm so honored to have you guys, Thesis is one of my Patreon members, to be involved with people like Bladed Thesis, because that is a mentality I want to foster and encourage in the martial arts community. There is a place for writ and rote style of training, and there are people who thrive in that. And we do not live in a zero-sum option where it's either this or that. But there are also people who need flexibility. They need a way to get percentages, and that's what I want to do. Silver Ogre, I just go back to it later and wonder, why did I put boobs besides all the marketing charts? Well, because you know what you were about. You draw busty women, Johnny Cage. You're good at drawing busty women. That is your life's passion. You enjoy busty women. I'm not going to give you any flack for that. You know what you're about. You do what you're about. But you like really cool swords, too, because the stuff you've done with the Rose Rapier has been amazing. And I'd love to see you keep doing things like that because it's fascinating. It's a workbook. Maybe a book called The Simple Book. The Book is a Weapon. That makes me want to just get a chunk of board and wrap a leather cover around it and put The Simple Book by Nick Tucker. Donk! Anyway, because you're a man of culture, Johnny, you should write a book on situational awareness and martial tactics, maybe simple survival. I am literally working on something about that. That is the book I don't want to write, because that's the book, and I have to write, then stay away from it for almost a couple of weeks before I can get back into it, about the real applications of what we do. The price studied violence, and simple survival is actually in the running. I believe it has a working title right now, and I can't remember what it is. But yeah, yes, that is a project, and it is a good idea, good enough. I'm already doing it, and I think I put the link up for that to get at the backside of it for my Patreons. If not, I'll try to do that later. We've got a comment dump again. Yay. I actually have a college rule notebook within arm's reach of my desk that's filled with horribly drawn sketches of Both for weapon designs that I will probably never build. Oh, I've got graph pads like that all over the place. I lose things, so I get another notebook. I'm very disorganized. I would flourish if I had a team of handlers. I understand this. You know, wow, that sounded terrible. A slightly more together butler, who may or may not be one heck of a butler, uh, some cleaning crew of some sort so that I could just focus on the insanity that is my creative process. But uh, yeah, okay. I despise the idea there's a right and wrong way to teach. Everyone learns differently, and you need to adjust your teaching style to each student. That's the thing. The great education experiment that's been going on in America for decades, and the world is really different from the classic master apprentice building system. And a lot has been learned. And the simple matter is that you can't quite mass produce mentality. It never works well. The only way to mass produce mentality is to have a system that breaks down the existing mentality, the personality so far that nothing is left, and then rebuilds it in a format, which can be powerful and vital and important. But that doesn't work for everyone. Thesis says, who doesn't enjoy busty women? I pity the fool. I like all women, whatever their bust size is, although I married a busty woman, so I'm more than a little biased. I think the Simple book was already written by John Wick. He certainly got the Simple pencil down. It was a sequel. I didn't see that. It was a sequel to his first book, The Simple Pencil. I enjoy busty ladies and perky ladies all the same, equally. Ogre's a man of culture, and I respect that. Here's a fun trick. Draw a face on anything. It's fun and easy vandalizing. And if you can't draw, remember, there are googly eyes that come with self-adhesive. That rapier is a piece of lore that I keep near my heart. I would love to know more about that if you're willing to share. If not, I can feel the depth of that the story around that weapon. Boobs are great. We are pro boobs around here. I'm still opposed. But I'm still opposed to having wrenches thrown at me as a teaching method. Jackie Chan's fighting with anything you can pick up. Yes, that is that is very much my personal core style. And that's teaching people to see objects in what they can be, not what they are. There are only roughly 5 classes of object you encounter that can be handled that dictate how one would use them as a weapon, and that's going in that book. Excuse me, my voice is cutting in and out a little bit. It's almost like my throat's mad at me. Situational survival, yes, and I think that might be the title of the book. Thank you, Johnny. Now, popping back up to thesis. Excuse me. Oh, my throat popped. I didn't realize that. I have an old injury from a hard shot to the throat that means it's not as attached as it should be. It's a bit cliche, but look at Kung Fu Panda. Po didn't learn the same way from the Furious Five, so Master Shifu had to alter his teaching styles. Exactly. And the frog in your throat brought friends. Now, wow. I've been doing too much. Never mind the furthermore. I went to do a promotion for Frog G Voodoo Gods and Magic. Don't be confused. I'm perfectly happy having wenches thrown at me. Okay. Well, I wanted to be sure because we were kind of surfing between conversations. Oh, God, this has come completely off the rails. And we are well over an hour. I did not get to my point about Cindy's request for incorporating weapons into costumes. But I guess that'll be something we can talk about next week if we don't come up with something more colorful. And we will see. But beyond that, guys, I think I am going to call it just because while I'm doing better, I'm feeling kind of some of the mojo fade real quick. So please be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe to this video if you like my content. We will be more educational later. We're kind of in a different arc right now. If you if you want to be of service, please feel free to either join me on the Historical Fencing Guild Patreon, where you get behind the scenes access, first reads on my books, basically the ability to say, hey, Nick, I want an episode or a comment on something, and I pretty much do it. I serve my patrons. Or you can buy my books on Amazon at the link below, www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Talkert. Or somebody asked if you could tip me. Yes, you can paypal.me/Nicholas Talkert. If you just want to give me money, I will gladly accept it, privately or publicly. Let's see, a couple more comments. Then see. Feel better soon. Go rest. Have a better night. Thanks for hosting the adventure. Don't forget to tip your host, and definitely watch for any more reactions. Yes, I'm going to be very, very careful for the next couple days, just in case it comes back and gets me. Because as you can hear, my voice is starting to fall out from everything that went wrong. So we're gonna have to call it tonight, and I will see you all next week here. If you want to see me sooner, you can see me on Nevermind the Furthermore on my other channel, the Nicholas Talkert channel, at 10 a.m. Eastern time. I believe it's Eastern Daylight right now. And I go about an hour there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Wednesdays often go longer, and I'm starting to have guests there. I am on Luke Stone Studios' YouTube channel for Nerd Bacon, where I am the co-host / bro host to Luke Stone, my incredibly conservative friend, and we talk comic books and nerds, and it gets incredibly political. It can be a lot of fun, and you can see me here every Friday night at 8 o'clock for the Historical Fencing Guild live stream. I am hoping to film some non-live stream pre-created content for you soon, if all goes well. And in a couple of weeks, I will have a vacation. I'm going to do my best to maintain my broadcast schedule, but there may be interruptions because my wife and I have been married 20 years and we haven't had a multi-day vacation I think we've had one. And that was 6 years ago, thanks to Steve Clausen. Oh, hopping in the last minute. Great to see you, Ryan. I hope you're having a wonderful time. And let's see. And definitely watch for any more reactions. Everyone, well, stay safe, healthy if you can, because we need a healthy-ish swordmaster. Thank you. You'll be careful out there. I always am. And great to see you, Ryan. Sorry you caught as I was signing off. But guys, do your drills, because then you know you've earned it. Keep your eyes open so you can see the threats before they're there. Be kind to yourself and each other, because this is a hard world we live in, and anything we can do that makes it a little bit better for somebody is worth doing. And thank you, as always, dear friends,